It was Johnny Cash. I grew up learning a lot of Johnny Cash music. Johnny Cash cut this song. It was written for him by Chris Christopherson. If you go on YouTube, you can see Chris explains when he got the reason for writing this song. He said he was on Music Row at a recording studio, and he met Johnny there. He said Johnny was down and out. He said, I thought he was a step away from dying. And, so I couldn't understand why, because he had it all. He said he recited me some poetry, and he said, I went home that night and inspired me to write a song called To Beat the Devil. And he said, I certainly didn't beat the devil, but he said, Johnny Cash and June sure tried their best to show me how. And he said, after he wrote that song, he said he straightened up and lived a good life with June. So this is recorded by Johnny Cash, written by Chris Christopherson, called To Beat the Devil. It was wintertime in Nashville, down on Music City Road. I was looking for a place to get myself out of the cold, to warm the frozen feeling that was eating at my soul, and keep the chilly wind off of my guitar. Well, my thirsty wanted whiskey, but my hunger needed beans. It had been a month of paydays since I heard the eagles scream. So with a stomach full of empty and a pocket full of dreams, I left my pride and stepped inside a bar. Actually, you could call it a tavern. Cigarette smoke to the ceiling, sawdust on the floor, friendly shouts. Well, I saw there was just one old man that was sitting at the bar. And in the mirror, I could see him checking me and my guitar. He smiled, he nodded, and he said, come here, boy, and show us what you are. I said, I'm dry. So he brought me up here. Well, he nodded at my guitar and he said, it's a tough life, ain't it? I just looked at him and said, you ain't making any money, are you? I said, you've been reading my mail. He just smiled and said, let me see that shiny guitar. I got something you want to hear. And then he laid it on me. If you waste your time talking to people who don't listen to things that you are saying, who do you think's gonna hear? And if you should die explaining things they complain about or things they could be changing, who do you think's gonna care? They were other lonely singers in a world turned deaf and blind, who were crucified for what they tried to show. And their voices have been scattered by the swirling winds of time, 'cause the truth remains that no one wants to know. Well, the old man was a stranger, but I heard his song before. Back when failure had me locked out on the wrong side of the door, when no one stood behind me but my shadow on the floor, and lonesome was more than a state of mind. You see, the devil wants the hungry man, and if you don't want to join him, well, you gotta beat him. Lord knows I ain't saying I beat the devil, but in 1974 in Nashville, I drank his beer for nothing, and then I stole his song. And you can still hear me singing to people who don't listen to the words that I am saying, praying someone's gonna hear. And I guess I'll not explain it, how things they complain about are things they could be changing, hoping someone's gonna care. I was born a lonely singer and I'm bound to die the same, but I gotta feed the hunger in my soul. And if I never earn a nickel, I'll never die ashamed, 'cause I don't believe that no one wants to know. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Oh, Jeannie's coming. Sidnie. She's bubbly and forward.
I remember when Mary and I first time we went to the Alabama. There was a guy singing by the name of Kim Lambert. Kim did a great job. And that was the first time we had heard live music at the band. And Kim finished his show, and Rusty McHugh and Mike Fincher were going to play from 1 to 3. Well, about 1:15, Rusty staggers up to the stage, starts setting up his guitar and all. Around 1:30, they were still chatting, drinking a beer, setting up. I looked at my wife and I told Mary, I said, "It better be good. Keep us here for about 30 minutes without playing." And he played his first song, and I was in love. I said, "These guys are the best I've ever heard." I mean, because he had the crowd in his hands, and he was just trying. He made everybody feel like he was his best friend. He just had charisma. And the first song we heard him play. Off to the kitchen, light me a cigarette along the way. I'm gonna have a 12-ounce breakfast, popcorn, a chance of doing anything today. Put down my guitar, off to the garden, see how my highballs are doing today. I'm gonna roll a Colombian luncheon, go a chance of doing anything today. Look in the mirror, got myself to death just the other day. Can't wait till I look through the mirror. Hate the way I feel when I'm looking this way. If you ever find your own self doing any of these things that I've had to say, procrastination is the national pastime. Do it all the more, let's get high today. Up in the morning, off to the kitchen, light me a cigarette all the way. I'm gonna have a 12-ounce breakfast, pop goes the chance of doing anything today. Pop goes the chance of doing anything today. Pop goes the chance of doing anything today.
How many years ago was that?
Sound like me and Alec. Got retired.
I'm texting the girl who used to work with me and that other guy. And hopefully she'll remember this name.
Oh, it's all right.
No, it's terrible.
This next one is written by Drew Landry. Drew Landry is a local performer. He plays at the Blue Moon Saloon. Mary and I got to be friends with him, but he wrote this song. It's called Hub City Blues. It's about an oil-field crash of 1982. Looks like we're in for another one. Well, it was early 83, maybe 1982. Too much money and too much night and crew. Well, F-A-Y-T-T-E, it was a hell of a place to be. It was the booming Hub City till all hell went dry. And I was running them ponies at the racetrack every night. Driving 90 miles an hour on the 4x305. I wasn't worried about a ditch or a telephone pole. Leaded gasoline, I'm running wide eyes open. Was the booming Hub City till all hell went dry. Well, F-A-Y-T-T-E, it was a hell of a place to be. It was a booming Hub City building, all well went dry. That Texas tea was worth its weight in gold. But the bottom drop that night ain't worth good in the hole. I haven't seen a sober day since I've been offshore. Good times all that I was looking for was a booming Hub City building, all well went dry. Well, F-A-Y-T-T-E, it was a hell of a place to be. It was a booming Hub City building, all well went dry. Yeah, they say it ain't a party unless somebody gets hurt. I woke up with 2 cracked ribs and that feet to dirt. They took my house and wrecked my car. And I felt so bad since they shot JR. Was a booming Hut City building. Oh well and dry. Well, F-A-Y-E-T-T-E, it was a hell of a place to be. It was a booming Hut City building. Oh well and dry. Last day in Louisiana, I was down in New Orleans. And the world fella, she went bankrupt just like me. Yeah, the money counting nice, but it's easy going. I ain't never gonna miss the Gulf of Mexico. It was a booming Hut City building. Oh well went dry. Well, F-A-Y-E-T-T-E, it was a hell of a place to be. It was a booming Hut City building. Oh well went dry. I was fortunate enough to become friends with another player from the Florida Bound, by the name of Jay Hawkins. And Jay was the original bad guy. Jay put your foot on the stage, he said, if you don't take it off, I'll take it off for you. He was that kind of guy. And I told him I played, and so I'm gonna bring you up. I didn't think it was true. That Sunday he's playing his set. So I'm gonna take a little 5 break. Good friend of mine, just met me the night before. Come on up and do one. Handed me the guitar and walked off the stage.
Thank you.
I'm fortunate enough I got to play that night, and the last couple of times we went to the Bama, Jace called me up and let me play a few. And one of my favorites was one did by Drew. And then I played this one, and Jay was like, I don't like that song. Who did that? Bobby Berry. So I never heard it. It's not on the radio, Jay. Here I sit in this gym bill, an empty in my hand. The telephone's 3 steps away, but I can't hardly stand. I got 5 pennies in my pocket, but loan is gonna take 10. Cause I gotta call Sweet Mary to come and pick me up again. Now I'm down to my last, come and get me. Just the way she said I'd be so many times before. I'm down to my last, come and get me. And I wonder if I'm worth to come and get me anymore. The promises I made to her, Lord knows I've tried to keep. But there's always something somewhere that makes the strongest man get weak. And ain't no use in running, and ain't no place to hide. When you drink up all your promises, piss the way you
I
cry.
see an engineer. I think he's
Now I'm down to my last, come and get me.
Actor Martin Landau.
Just
Like my character.
she said
That's
I've been
Ken.
so many times
That's what he looked like.
I'm down to my last, come and get me. And I wonder if I'm worth to come and get me anymore. Yes, I wonder if I'm worth to come and get me anymore.
So Ken's got to support the kid and he got a job.
Thank you very much.
that name sounds familiar. I know I've known a song. I know
But he's a young boy. He's like in his 30s.
Well,
I worked with him on
I cover a few
and
songwriters and
in
singers,
Evolves Parish.
but I guess my favorite is Jimmy
It was a
Buffett.
fun gig. It lasted 2 years.
nice.
We were living in
Love
the
everything
casino.
about his lifestyle, how he writes, what he does.
Yeah, there was a lot of
I'm gonna do this in for my
the good old days. We didn't
my
know.
boss and his wife Diana Martin. I'm gonna do Margaritaville, Diana's favorite song. Living on sponge cake, watching the sun bathe. All of those tourists covered with oil, strumming my 6 string on my front porch swing. I smell a shrimp and beginning of oil. Wasted away again in Margaritaville, searching for my lost shaker song. Some people claim there's a woman to blame, but I know It's nobody's fault. I don't know the reason.
My brother and I, and my sister,
Been in all seasons. Wake up in the store with a brand new tattoo. It's the Florida coastline. Me and Phil had a great time. And how it got here, Patron is the clue.
It's not going to be a group therapy thing.
We had.
Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my lost favorite song. Some people claim there's a war to blame, but I know it's nobody's fault. Thank you, babe. Any song. Open in tank tops, cruising the gift shops, checking out chiquitas down by the shore. They dream about weight loss, wish they could be their own boss. Those 3-day vacations in college are full.
But Alaska was on my bucket list. And when my sister got president, I told my brother,
I stepped on a stop sign.
because we don't know.
I cut my heel, had to cruise on home.
She just has a,
But there's booze in the blend now,
it's not a kid.
so they will land now.
They
The
got it
pros and the cats in the hills, they hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my lost Jaeger song.
Yeah.
Some people claim there's a war
And I want to go see all the
but I know
everyone who goes to Alaska tells
it's
me.
my own damn
So we
fault.
gotta find out.
Some people claim there's a war to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault.
Years.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm gonna have one of these out. I can't remember, dude. I can't remember. It's been years. We haven't been out in a long time.
Yeah.
My brother's been battling throat cancer.
Oh,
for
no.
about 2 or 3 years. It's been over. It's a couple of years now. Huh?
Nice.
Yeah. It was the best.
I had my last radiation treatment on December 12th, 2018.
2018. It was a mess. Trade.
So 2 more years, you'll be 5 years, and that's the magic number.
That's usually the magic number.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
But I was like, okay, I got that. Then they go, man, you
I'd like to do this song for my 2 girls at the bar. This one's for Sarah and Stacy. This is a song that Johnny Cash recorded. It's a tribute to the American Indian. And I hold the American Indian dear to my heart because they have no spokesman.
You know.
Nobody backs them. There's no Black Lives Matter. There's nobody supports the American Indian. They stand alone. So, he wrote this one about a Marine by the name of Ira Hayes, who wasn't drafted. He joined to go fight for his country, even though America turned his back on the Team Indians. It's called the Ballad of Ira Hayes. Gather around, you people. There's a story I will tell about a brave young Indian you should remember well. From the land of the Pima Indians, a proud and noble band who formed the Phoenix Valley in Arizona land. Through the ditches for 1,000 years, water grew out of people's crops till the white man stole the water rights and the sparkling water stopped. While Irish folks were hungry, their land grew crops of weeds. But when war came, Ira volunteered and he forgot the white man's breed. Tall and drunken Ira Hayes Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. As they battled up Iwo Jima Hill, 250 men, only 27 lived to walk back down again. And when the fight was over, and Old Glory raised, among the men who held it high was an Indian named Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. The whiskey drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Ira Hayes returned a hero, celebrated through the land. He was wined and speeched and honored. Everybody shook his hand, but he was just a Pima Indian. No water, no home, no chance. And back home, nobody cared what Ira had done. Seldom did the Indians dance. Ira started drinking hard. Jail was often his home. They let him raise the flag and lower it like you throw a dog a bone. He died drunk, alone, early one morning in the land that he had fought to save. 2 inches of water in a lonely ditch was a grave. Ira Hayes. Call him drunk.